PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. And on this edition, we are going to be breaking down, and we're really going to be talking about on this edition what the Vegas Golden Knights can do with goaltender Robin Lehner. And the main reason why this is being brought up is because there has been conversation with everything that's going on right now, okay? With all the stuff that is happening involving your Vegas Golden Knights, the situation with the goaltending, with all the parameters and everything like that, there's always been discussion when it comes to your Vegas Golden Knights about what the Vegas Golden Knights are going to do with goaltender Robin Lehner. And, you know, he has 1 year left. He's going to have a base salary of $4.5. He's going to have a cap hit of $5. Like, there's all this stuff that'll be coming out just around the corner into next season. So on this edition of Vegas Hockey Hub, with everything going on, I just want to do a quick video, pivot a little bit, and just quickly talk about what Vegas can do with Robin Lehner. And what we're going to do on Vegas Hockey Hub is we have five different scenarios for your Vegas Golden Knights on how they can deal with Robin Lehner. And going to be a very interesting video here on Vegas Hockey Hub. We'll get into all of that just in one sec. Now, go to the website, www.prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. Check out all the amazing content we have on the network. We have about over a dozen shows on the platform, including Vegas Hockey Hub. So I would highly recommend going to the website and checking out all the people that are on here, all the great content creators that are here, including Vegas Hockey Hub. Follow us on social media as well, as we are on all major platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We are essentially on every single platform you can think of at Vegas Hockey Hub. And if you want to follow your host, I am right down there at Ian J. Rachiele. And with Robin Lehner, to kind of set this up correctly, all right, to really establish what Vegas can do with Robin Lehner, what's the future for Robin Lehner? I've taken you back just a little bit, okay, just to set up some context. Now, let me take you back to 2020. 2020, your Vegas Golden Knights, they're going to be playing in the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs. They have a good record. They're going to be moving on to the playoffs, but it is the 2020 NHL trade deadline. Marc-Andre Fleury is an aging veteran. They do not know what his future status is going to be. And more importantly, when it came to the Vegas Golden Knights, you did not have that much job security behind Marc-Andre Fleury in 2020 at that moment in time. So what do the Vegas Golden Knights do at the 2020 NHL trade deadline? Well, they get in contact with the Chicago Blackhawks. And the Chicago Blackhawks, who are floundering, they're not a playoff team. They are trying to shop their goaltender just so happened to be the previous year's Bill Masterson's trophy winner and former Jennings trophy winner, and that was by the name of Robin Lehner. So during that 2020 trade deadline, it would be a situation where the Vegas Golden Knights did not have to give up that much in the deal. As a matter of fact, I will actually help you and kind of read out what the trade was exactly. As with Robin Lehner, this was someone who, when he got flipped from the Vegas Golden Knights and went from Chicago to Vegas, Robin Lehner was only flipped for a prospect, a 2020 NHL draft pick, and that was it, essentially. So, considering all of that, considering it was a prospect and a mid-round pick in the 2020 NHL draft, it would be interesting to see what would happen in that deal. It would be kind of interesting to see how he would participate with the Vegas Golden Knights. And does anyone remember what Robin Lehner did when he first got to Vegas? Because your host Ian Rachiele does. Robin Lehner joins the organization and wins his first 3 games of the season in Vegas. All right, he had a fantastic debut with the Golden Knights organization, winning every single game during that remainder of the season. And more importantly, when it came to Robin Lehner, this was a situation where if you studied and actually looked at what he did back then, it is quite remarkable how in 2020, the conversation we're having now would be shocking for most people. Because back in 2020, Robin Lehner not only went 3-0 in the final 3 games of that season and had a goals against average a little under 1.7 with your Vegas Golden Knights, but then they go to the playoffs that year, okay? He goes to the playoffs that season and helps the Vegas Golden Knights make it to the Western Conference Finals. And more importantly, with Robin Lehner, he had one of the best playoff runs that we have seen actually in a long time. He had a goals against average of 1.9. He had save percentage of 91.7. That's all from hockeyreference.com. And with that performance that he had with the Vegas Golden Knights, it helped plant Robin Lehner as the Golden Knights goaltender, it looked like, of the future. And what a backbone it was going to be, as you had a guy who was a Vezina Trophy vote in back-to-back years. He received votes in 2019, and he received votes in 2020. And also the same guy who was a Jennings winner in 2019. He was coming off a really solid run, and he wasn't even at the age of 30 yet in Robin Lehner. So after having that experience, what would the Vegas Golden Knights do the following year? Well, interesting enough, when it came to the following season, they had one of the best goaltending tandems in the NHL. You had a Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Lehner that in the shortened 2020-2021 season, where only 56 games were played, Robin Lehner and Marc-Andre Fleury would win the Jennings Trophy. This would be the second time for Robin Lehner. He would win the Jennings Trophy twice in 3 years. He would actually help the Vegas Golden Knights reach the Western Conference Finals for the second year in a row. Now, the main difference between what happened the year prior in 2020 and what happened in 2021 is that in 2020, Robin Lehner was the main goaltender in net during the playoffs. He played in 16 games in 2020. And like I mentioned, he had 4 shutouts, 1.9 goals against average, and a 91.7 save percentage. Whereas in 2021, Marc-Andre Fleury was the primary goaltender, and Robin Lehner was the backup. He only played in a few games while in the 2021 Stanley Cup playoffs. So during that 2021 season, where Marc-Andre Fleury is getting paid $7 million, Robin Lehner, who signed a nice contract, which we'll talk about in just a minute, Robin Lehner signs a nice contract in that 2021 offseason that would be making sure that he would stay in Vegas to 2025. But that $12 million cap hit would not stay there for long. The tandem of Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Lehner would not stay for long, as in the 2021 offseason, the Golden Knights would ship Marc-Andre Fleury to Chicago. Funny enough, a year and a half prior, they had acquired Robin Lehner from Chicago. Kind of went full circle in a way. And in 2021, 2022, they gave him the starting job. All right, it's yours. Take it. Let's see what you can do. And he did okay in 2021, 2022. He was not dominant. He was not great. But in that one season that he was the starting goalie, he had a record of 23 wins, 17 losses, and 2 overtime losses. He had a save percentage just under 91% and a save percentage of 2.8. So when you consider what his 3 years were in Vegas in terms of stats-wise, he did okay. He had a 66 starts, 39 wins, 21 losses, and 4 overtime losses. Now, throughout those 3 seasons, he was a Vezina Trophy. He finished in the Vezina Trophy voting once. He was in the Jennings once. And he had a final stat line during his 3 years in Vegas, as he had 3 shutouts, a 2.6 goals against average, and a 91% save percentage. So overall, with Robin Lehner, he did a good enough job during the 3 seasons that he played in Vegas. He was not terrible. He was not awful. So what happened with Robin Lehner? All right, what was the reason why Robin Lehner turned into what he did in 2021, signing that 5-year deal? He looked like he was going to have a long-term future in Vegas, to now 2024, where we're questioning what the Golden Knights need to do with Robin Lehner. Well, he got injured at the end of 2021-2022, and he got surgery that would miss the entire 2022-2023 season. Conveniently, that was the year your Vegas Golden Knights won a championship. So he missed that entire year due to surgery. And then he was not physically cleared for this season, 2023-2024. So he would actually have to be put on long-term IR, as he was announced that he would be out indefinitely for the 2023-2024 season. And that brings you to present day. And present day for Robin Lehner is a situation where you have 1 year left on that 5-year deal that he signed back in 2021. It's a situation where Robin Lehner is in you have a $4.5 million base salary. You have a situation where you look at Robin Lehner's contract and he has a $5 million cap hit. Now, this does not seem that important for sure, but you have to remember a $5 million cap hit, a $4.5 million base salary. That's what we are playing with here with Robin Lehner. So this is the 5 options your Vegas Golden Knights can do with Robin Lehner. Now, option 1, and this is I'm not going to say preferred choice, but it is the most obvious choice your Vegas Golden Knights can do heading into next season. That would be to buy out Robin Lehner. Now, thanks to CapFriendly.com, because I use their buyout calculator for this information, but according to CapFriendly.com, with Robin Lehner, if they bought him out, he would have a $2 million cap hit for the upcoming season. He would have to get paid his contract over the next 2 years. Now, what this would do for the Vegas Golden Knights is that they would have to pay him over the next 2 seasons, but it would save them $3 million in terms of cap hit over this season, okay? So for 2024, 2025, you save $3 million on that deal. However, he would still count for a $2 million cap hit, but his base salary would be a 1.5, okay? So he would be getting paid 1.5 over this season, and it would have a $2 million cap hit. Compare that to the $4.5 million that his actual salary is, and a $5 million cap hit. Now, there is one important reason why the Vegas Golden Knights would do this, and there's one reason why they may not go through with this. Now, because of that buyout calculator, the Vegas Golden Knights, the offseason, all the moves that have to be made, there's going to be some very important decisions coming up. So you have to ask yourself, would $3 million make the Vegas Golden Knights better? If you buy out Robin Lehner, if you buy him out and he only has a $2 million cap hit, you save $3 million by buying him out, would you take that $3 million and acquire somebody else that could provide value to Vegas? Essentially, if you're the Vegas Golden Knights, could you take that $3 million and acquire someone in the middle six? Can you take that $3 million and put somebody on the trading block, acquire that $3 million on top of it, and acquire a superstar via the trade market? That's a question Kelly McCrimmon and George McPhee and Bill Foley, they're going to have to decide that. Because if you buy out Robin Lehner for next year, okay, we know 2023, 2024, it is what it is, but looking forward into 2024, 2025, if you buy him out and it's only a $2 million cap hit instead of a $5 million cap hit and you save $3 million, what are you going to do with that $3 million? It has to count, that $3 million, if you buy him out. Now, the one reason why you may not want to buy him out is because when you buy out a contract, you're going to have to pay him an additional year. So instead of just giving him that $4.5 million salary that you are going to be giving him now, you're going to have to split up that contract. And because of the buyout calculator, Robin Lehner will be making $1.5 million this year, and then he will get paid over additional years what that $4.5 million was. Or essentially, with the buyout calculator, it is at a 67%. That is what the buyout is. So, if you are the Vegas Golden Knights, are you willing to buy out Robin Lehner but agree to pay him for additional years out of the Vegas Golden Knights payroll, out of their management, out of their situation? That is what you're going to have to ask yourself if you're McPhee, McCrimmon, and Foley. Because there's some teams who don't want to admit it, but there's some teams who would rather bite the bullet and just pay them all in total for 1 year than buy them out and have to continue paying them for additional years. So option one for what the Vegas Golden Knights can do with Robin Lehner is that you buy him out and you pay him $1.5 million this year, and he only is a $2 million cap hit for this season. But what about option two? What about having him stay home? What if the Vegas Golden Knights, they call up Robin Lehner and they say, hey, similar to what happened last year, we're going to have you stay home. You're not going to be around the team. You're not going to be around the organization. We are going to have you essentially sit for $5 million and you're going to just stay home. All right, you're not going to be on the roster. You're not going to be acknowledged by the team. Nothing. We are essentially going to be paying you to not play for the Golden Knights organization. And for the third year in a row, the Vegas Golden Knights put Robin Lehner on long-term IR. Now, let's look at the positive here, and then let's look at the negative of why Robin Lehner being on long-term IR for the third year in a row would benefit and then potentially not benefit the Vegas Golden Knights organization. Now, the benefit to this is that you can manipulate the long-term IR and you can actually use the CBA against the NHL and have Robin Lehner essentially be a $5 million insurance policy the Vegas Golden Knights can use and would allow him to not be counted towards the salary cap. So instead of having that $88 million, you could essentially have $93 million on the books, but that $5 million would not count. It's a loophole. Essentially, it's what the NHL and some teams are going to be doing inevitably this offseason. I guarantee you there's going to be more teams like Toronto and Tampa Bay and a bunch of organizations who've been using it lately alongside Vegas. They can use it again. So the one positive Vegas can use is that instead of worrying about a salary cap and worrying about are they going to be over, they can spend a little bit more money and then have Robin Lehner be on the shelf, and they would be A-okay come opening night. The negative to this, however, would be if a situation happens similar to 2 years ago where the Vegas Golden Knights actually get injured for real and they start accumulating actual injuries and they're not able to put certain players on long-term IR because they already have that allotted space with Robin Lehner. In a roundabout way, it's similar to what happened a couple of months ago with your Vegas Golden Knights. Because you had Robin Lehner on long-term IR, because you put Mark Stone on long-term IR, because you put Alec Martinez, because you put Jack Eichel, because you put certain players on long-term IR, they actually exceeded the allotted space. So what they had to do was they had to keep players on IR and not long-term IR because they couldn't afford to put a certain player on long-term IR. I remember during the middle of 2023, 2024, there was a situation where guys like William Carrier, where guys like, for example, who was the other player that had an injury? Alec Martinez. There were some players who just had to sit on IR for almost an entire month because they couldn't be put on long-term IR. Even though it actually would have benefited the Golden Knights to put them on long-term IR, they physically couldn't because Robin Lehner was already on long-term IR. They already had that $5 million chunk allotted to a player who was never going to play. So that's why option 2 is risky. All right, the option 2, the good part is that you could put $5 million over the cap and you wouldn't have to stress about it because you know you're going to be putting it on long-term IR. The negative would be, come the playing time, your Vegas Golden Knights could be screwed and would actually be forced to not use long-term IR for players who actually need it. Okay, option 3. Let's say that by September of this upcoming year, let's say by October of this upcoming year, Robin Lehner is actually healthy, okay? Let's just say, for argument's sake, by the start of the 2024-2025 season, Robin Lehner can't be put on long-term IR because he could actually suit up and play. And let's just stay with me here. Well, what will the Golden Knights do in that situation? See, if you can't put him on long-term IR, if he actually is medically cleared, well then what would the Golden Knights do? What would this situation look like? Well, option 3 is option 3, well, that's option 4. Option 3 is that you don't play in Vegas, but instead you go play in the AHL. So similar to what happened with Corey Schneider and a bunch of other goaltenders who've actually managed to get injured over the last couple of years, if you can't be in the NHL, but we can't buy you out and we can't let go, we can't get rid of you, well, then we're going to force you to eat your salary cap in the AHL. Now, here is what the parameters of that would be. If Robin Lehner is able to go, you option him down to the AHL where any team can acquire him via waivers. And if no one claims him on waivers, then he would be sent down to the AHL. And because it is a minor salary, I think it's about 50%, it would actually be cut in half because he'd be playing in the minors, not in the majors. And we've been seeing with a bunch of veterans over the last couple of years, this is what happens to some guys. They get sent to the AHL and there still are a bit of a salary cap. It's about $2.5 million instead of the $5 million for the cap hit. And then the salary part of it, they only get paid a certain chunk of that salary because they are being put in the minors. So for the Vegas Golden Knights, this could be an option in play. Because if you put him in the AHL, you are technically saving yourself money while allowing him to play in the organization. So he's still earning a paycheck. He is still with the team. But you would have to have essentially a situation where you have a $5 million cap hit and a player that is making $4.5 million. But on paper, it would only be a $2.5 million cap hit. and someone who'd only be making about $1.5 million in terms of their actual salary while in the minors. So this is a viable option if he can play. But what would happen if injuries pop up again? Like, what would happen if, for example, Aiden Hill gets hurt, which he has been done like 3 times in 2023, 2024. Let's just say, for example, what would happen if what happened with Logan Thompson, where Logan Thompson suffered an injury in 2022, 2023, and they had to recall someone like a Laurent Brisebois, who actually played a few games in the AHL with Henderson because there was no space left. Well, option 4 is that you earn that paycheck, all right? Just like that one film, you show me the money. Robin Lehner would have to play for Vegas. If he is medically cleared, if by September, by October, if he is able to suit up for the Vegas Golden Knights, if they can't put him on long-term IR because he's not an option there anymore, then you have a scenario where Robin Lehner, wearing that number 90, having the panda face mask, which he had for the last couple of years when he was playing, he would be suiting up for the first time in almost 3 years, playing for the Golden Knights. Now, the one positive of this is you have to remember this is someone who's earned Vezina Trophy votes twice in his career. This is someone who is a 2-time Jennings Trophy winner. This is someone who is a Masterson Trophy winner. All right, a lot of people seem to forget, and I used the first 5 minutes of the show setting up this for a reason. Robin Lehner was a good goaltender. When he played in New York, when he played here in Vegas, those first year and a half, he was a solid NHL goalie. And with him being 32 years old, it's not like it's 39 years old like Marc-Andre Fleury. You know, he's not 41 years old, still skating around like a Craig Anderson or a Mike Smith. No, he's 32 years old. He can still go if he is medically cleared, and that's a scenario here. And if option 4 does happen, and if goaltenders get hurt, and you know, forbid it does happen occasionally, you have Robin Lehner suit up and play in Vegas. But I said that there's 5 options here. And option 1 is to buy him out. Option 2, be put on long-term IR, you stay home. Option 3, he plays in the AHL, he still earns a paycheck, but he is not on the active roster in Vegas. Option 4, you put him on the active roster, and he earns that $5 million paycheck while playing in Vegas. But option 5 is unlikely, but we've seen wilder trades happen in the past. Option 5 is you find a team like the Arizona Coyotes for a lot of years. All right, you find a team like the Buffalo Sabres. Okay, you find an organization like the Anaheim Ducks, someone that has a lot of cap space this offseason. You find a trade partner, someone who can eat a $5 million cap hit, and you trade Robin Lehner. You probably have to give up a draft pick, a highly valuable draft pick, but a draft pick nonetheless. You'd have to give up something of value alongside Robin Lehner and trade him to an organization that can easily eat a $5 million cap hit. What's more organizations that could eat a salary? For example, maybe an organization like I said, Arizona. I know, Anaheim. They've done that in the past. Find yourself an organization like the Chicago Blackhawks the last 2 or 3 years. They've been able to eat a lot of money. Columbus Blue Jackets have been notorious for eating money. Even organizations like, this is just a shot in the dark, but even an organization like the Ottawa Senators have 8 salaries in the past. So I will say once again, what does Vegas do with Robin Lehner? Option 1, you buy out his contract, you pay him $1.5 million with a $2 million cap hit over an allotted amount of years. Option 2, you tell him to stay home, you put him on long-term IR, and he is on that $5 million cap hit, but it doesn't count towards the cap. Option 3, he has sent him to Henderson, he plays in the AHL, and he does not play on the active roster. Option 4, he's on the active roster, he plays in Vegas, and he earns that paycheck. Or option 5, you find an organization like the Anaheim Ducks, and you make them eat a $5 million salary, and you only get future considerations in return. So this is Vegas Hockey Hub. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. Now, if you ask me, your host, Ian Rachiele, I would find a trade partner. In my opinion, you go and find a gullible team, someone who can eat the cap space, and you trade him away. That is what your host, Ian Rachiele, would do. But you let me know in the comments what you would do on Vegas Hockey Hub and what you would do with Robin Lehner if you're the Vegas Golden Knights. And until next time, continue watching hockey, go support junior hockey, and go Knights, go.